Hey everyone, this is Daniel, and in today's video I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about Power Virtual Agent in Teams. And we're going to cover a whole lot. We're going to start off with the license, what all you need to use this, then to make sure that is even Power Virtual Agent turned on as an approved app in your Teams Admin Center. Then after that, we'll focus a lot on the actual chatbot. We'll go ahead and create entity, and we'll create a flow to actually build the chatbot. Then we'll even go and do some testing to make sure it is shared with the correct members of your team. And then finally, how do you go ahead and delete that as well? So we're going to cover a whole lot. Stick around. But first, here's my intro video. So the first thing I want to talk about the licensing piece. Now I'm not going to focus on how much this is going to cost and the dollar value, but I do want to talk about the services that come with the subscription. Now, when you're using Teams and you're using Power Virtual Agent Chatbot Teams, what you get is kind of a light version of Power Virtual Agents, so you don't get the full effect. But what you get is fantastic because it's completely free. I mean, you're still paying for it from your M365 subscription standpoint, but you don't have to go and add more service from the team standpoint. So here's a really good documentation. It's a Microsoft doc, and I'll put that link in the chat. I'll put in the description below so you can take a look at it. But here's what I want you to focus on: is that when you are using Power Virtual Agents for a Teams plan, which is your M365 plan, it'll come by default with your M365 subscription. It'll also allow you to Power Automate connectors, but with standard connectors. And then all the web security is by default enabled over there, which means it uses the same group that you've used for your teams. It comes along with that. Now, it doesn't have any other Microsoft bot skills, frameworks. It doesn't have any other integration features. Any of that, you need to go ahead and do that for the additional subscription. But this is it. This is what you get with the M365. And it is huge. I mean, it is really huge. Now, I do want to focus on this one other thing for Power Automate connectors, because in this demo I'm going to build, a very simple demo, I'm actually going to use Dataverse. And sometimes that can be a little confusing. So, hey, Dataverse is actually the CDS, and when I go in and build flows, it tells me it's a premium connector. And again, remember, this is all in the Power Virtual Agent construct over here. So this lightweight version, but inside Power Virtual Agents, we use Dataverse, and over there when we go and create teams, tables, in that tables, it is still part of a standard connector. You don't have to go pay extra. And I'll show you what I mean is when you go and do this outside the construct of Teams, when you come and start building some Teams, Power Virtual Agent, when you go ahead and start building the flows, when you use CDS, again, outside the Teams construct, you get this function. It says it is you're using Common Data Service, and it is a premium one. But when you use it inside Teams, inside the Dataverse, with that 2 gig storage that you get, that connector is no longer premium, it is a standard connector. Very important that you understand this, that I'm talking everything inside the Teams umbrella, that lightweight version over there, and then what I'm showing you over here is outside the Teams, okay? So don't get confused over there, but it is important for you to know, to illustrate that one point, is that this chatbot functionality inside Teams is basically free because it comes with your M365 over there, and it already gives you the functionality to use that 2 gig storage that you have. All right, so kind of go ahead and show you that important thing over there. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the users licenses, because I'm going to be using 2 users throughout this demo over there. One of them is going to be basically the maker, and the other one is going to be a user. So let's take a look at the license. So the first user, her name is Rosanna. She is going to be the one making it. So I'll come over here, I'll search for Rosanna, and here is Rosanna Christian, and basically her license. It is just the is the M365 enterprise license that she has, nothing else along with it. And just to prove a point, I'm going in over here, and I'm taking in to see that in this case, Rosanna has the M365 E5. It could be the E3, it could be her business account, but this is what she has. And check this out, she doesn't have all these other ones over here. She doesn't have the Power Virtual Agents license and whatnot. It is interesting though, because now with that E5, when you come in over here, when you scroll down, you actually get to see this other license flexibility which is available, and that is the one for Power Virtual Agents Office 365, and it's PVA for Office 365. So again, it's not new for some of us because we saw the same thing for Power Apps. We saw the same thing for Power Automate over there. Like as long as you were in the construct of the Microsoft 365, you still had to have that license turned on. Same thing over here. Power Virtual Agents now, you just got to have that license turned on, but you're not paying additional cost for that. Same thing, I'm going to use another account because Rosanna is going to be the maker of the flow. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to use Finn, and Finn is going to be the everyday user. Same thing, Office 365 E5. So that was a very important thing that I wanted to show you, is basically the concept of how the licensing piece over there. All right. Now let's go and start talking about the team that I'm going to actually use. So I've logged in over here as Rosanna, again, just to make sure. This is Rosanna, and this is the team that Rosanna has access to. It's a one-stop shop for FAQ. So basically, this is going to be a one team where people can come in over here and they can ask basically questions about anything that they can think of tied to that company, and we are going to build a chatbot at least to get that process started over here. So now that I come in over here, it has got this team. Now, important thing I want to talk about this team is that we haven't started anything over here as far as building the Power Virtual Agents. In fact, I haven't even done any built-in Power Apps or any Power Automate. So this team, it does not have an environment generated in the back end. Let me show you what that means. Now, this is me coming in over here as an admin, and in the admin piece, I'm going to come in and I'm going to now take a look at the Power Apps. So I come in over here to my Power Apps. I'm going to go and log in. Again, me as a Power Platform admin. And I'm going to go basically to the PPAC, or the Power Platform Admin Center, which is coming over here. Admin Center. You'll hear people talk about this term called PPAC, which again stands for the Power Platform Admin Center. And over here, check this out. See, these are the environments. And specifically, I can come over here to the type. You click on it. It's funny because you don't actually see that, but if you click on it, you come to Microsoft Teams, you can apply. And these are the only 3 teams that I have. I do not have that new one yet, the one-stop shop over there. So I kind of wanted to show that to you, that make sure that when you go over there, you see that there is no environment created. We'll go back in a few minutes now and you'll take a look at that over there. Okay, so we've gone ahead and created all of that, showed you some of the licenses, everything is good. Now let's go into Teams and start building the actual Power Virtual Agent. So what I'm going to come in, again, is, I'm coming, I guess, Rosanna over here, go to Apps, and in Apps, I'm going to search for Power Virtual Agent. Power Virtual, and I've started doing it, and I already show up over here as Power Virtual Agents. What happens if that doesn't show up? Well, that's where the Teams admins can come and help you. Now, most of the time, I've already seen this show up over here, but there are those enterprise level companies, or all those companies which basically, have gone ahead and only approved a certain apps. That could be the same scenario with your PVA as well, which is Power Virtual Agents. In that scenario, you basically just go ahead and tell your admin people, is that, hey, I need you to go ahead and approve the Power Virtual Agents app. So I come over here. What they will do is they'll go to their M365 Admin Center. Then they'll go ahead and click on their Teams over here. Then they go to the Teams Admin Center. And in the Teams Admin Center, they go to Teams Apps, click on Manage Apps. They will search for Power Virtual Agent, basically search for Power, and just do that Power Virtual Agent over there. And in fact, I've done full Power Apps. If you just do Power, it shows up the Power Virtual Agent. And in Power Virtual Agent, you want to turn on both of them. See, right now it's allowed. This one's also allowed. In your case, it might be disabled or blocked. You want to tell them that, hey, turn on the Power Virtual Agents and shared Power Virtual Agents apps, okay? Both of those need to be turned on. Sweet. So you've got all that administrative work done as well. Now, just in case, if you did not see that before, you will now see it over here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Sweet. So got this over here, again, inside the entire construct of Teams. And I'm going to go ahead and click on Power Virtual Agents, and I'm clicking on that add. And then if this is the first time you're doing it, which is in my scenario, this is the first time I'm doing it. This is also when that little icon showed up over here for Power Virtual. So I'm going to right click on that and I'm going to go and pin on it. Just makes it convenient for me to not going in and searching for it again and again. I'm going to do that. So I did that, and now I'm going to come over here and click on Start Now. And this pop-up box comes up over here. And in this pop-up box, it's actually going to say, hey, do you want to go ahead and create a chatbot for Teams? And this is where you actually decide which team do you want to create to. And so the one I want to create on is this one. But it's important because this is the first time that I'm doing it. Well, it's important to know 2 things. First is it is only allowing you the teams that you have access to, which is great. But also the other thing is it's saying you are the first person to create a bot in this team. We'll need to do something while you're setting it up, blah, 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 load all that. So I'm just going to click on Continue. That's a really good sign that it's telling you that, hey, you are the first one to do it. So just give me a few minutes. Go ahead and select your, go ahead and give me a few minutes. and then it'll go ahead and do all of this. Now, while it's doing that, I just want to pause and say that so far this section over here, like once we got into the virtual agents, this is a lot similar to what we had before over there. It was very similar, very straightforward. And once we into the actual Power Virtual Agents building section over there, I'll kind of show some comparison. Sweet. So you saw this little sign that come up over there, says your team is ready to use. So I really like this because since it is a lightweight version of the Power Virtual Agents, it spins up that section really fast too. So I'm pretty happy with everything I'm seeing so far. All right, so come now over here. I'm going to call this as my one-stop shop for FAQ. Let me see, what's the best one I'm going to call that? Yep, I'll just call it one-stop shop for FAQ. FAQ, this is all good. I'll go ahead and let it create. And then it's going ahead and creating that bot. But at this point, let's go and take a look at that environment over there. So I'm going to come back over here into my app section. I come back over here. Remember, this is where we were. Now, if I go and refresh it, see, new environment, one-stop shop FAQ has been successfully created. It's right there. In fact, the date stamp is also what I'm doing. It tells me who created it as well. So kind of, do you understand now what I was talking about is that the environment that when it creates doesn't automatically happen. Something has to trigger it. And in this case, it was the creation of the Power Virtual Agent, which was the first time to create that environment. In your case, it could have already been created. It could have been for building an Power Automate flow. It could have been building a Power Apps. But I just want to bring that across to you is that depending on our case, we never had an environment created. But in this case, it is. So now we've got the 2 gig capacity directly created over here. So very important point that I want you guys to understand. Awesome. So now we are inside Power Virtual Agents inside the construct of Teams. So let's actually do a little bit of side-by-side comparison, okay? Spend a few seconds over there. You got the hamburger menu, which is basically the navigation toggle. When I click on it, it shows me this over here. So what I thought is I'll go ahead and get our other Power Virtual Agents, and you can basically see a side-by-side comparison. But it's very similar. See, this is me, the down here over here, that's me inside Power Virtual Agents for all these other videos that you've seen of mine. And then here is now we are inside the Teams construct. And as you can see, it is pretty simple. Pretty similar, which I kind of like. Now, a couple of things which kind of did throw me off a little bit was the whole option to go ahead and create a entity, create the topic and everything. It used to be right up over here. In our case now, when I come to topics, and I come back over here, I got to go a little to the left. So when I was actually building it right here, I kept coming with my arrow over there, but it's pretty simple. It's, right over there because it's over here in this case. See, that's pretty neat. And we might come back and forth just to do a little comparison, but this is what I want you to see. Big takeaway from this one is that if you're already comfortable with using chatbots in Teams, this is right in your realm, right? Nothing different. It's all straight in your comfort zone. Now, when I'm doing a demo, when I'm actually building something, especially in production, what I do is I go ahead and turn off these lessons. That way, none of their triggers will confuse me in any way. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn those off. So for the sake of this demo of mine, I'm going to go ahead and actually build, like I said, it's a chatbot, but I want to go ahead and build some entities as well. So in this case now, I want to build my first new custom entity. So I'm going to come over here, and in my custom entity, I'm going to call that as general information. And in general information, I'm going to add some stuff over here. So I'm going to call that as paid time off. That's going to be my first one. And the second one is going to be benefits. The whole concept is to make this as that one-stop shop place over there. So paid time off will be, a place where people come in and confirm when their PTO holidays are. And then the other one is to get more information about the benefits. For the sake of this demo, I'm going to focus purely on the paid time off. But here, I want to focus on some sentiments as well, because people might not always just say paid time off. They might come over there and say general holidays. They might say holidays only. Holidays. They might say paid holidays, or they might say PTOs. See? So I'm going ahead and adding that. In fact, I've got a full video based on how to use these synonyms and examples of those. I'll put that in the link below, and it'll also show up at the end of this video. Go ahead and try that because that's really important information. Now for the benefits, I'm just going to put in some examples. Again, for this video, I'm not going to use that a whole lot, but I'm just giving you some examples of how these synonyms work. Medical insurance. So I'll just add 2 for now. And it's very important that you go ahead and save it, and now it's getting saved. Nice. All right, so now let's go and continue with going ahead and building tables, because what I'm going to do is I want to also show you the example of using a flow to get some information about the holidays area over there. And to do the flow, I need to actually go ahead and now go from the Power App side to go and take a look at the tables. So it's very important that this different section over here, when you're a good stopping point, to go ahead and save it. And if you haven't already saved it, then what you do is basically first try to go out of it. And in my case, I'm going to go and search for Power Apps. I'm going to click on Power Apps. And this is the first time that this user, Sharon, is using Power Apps. So it came back over here. I'm going to go ahead and pin that as well. And in the Power Apps, I'm going to click on Build. We are on the one-stop shop for FAQ. And I'm going to go ahead and click on in FAQ. I usually go to, see, it told me the chatbot area is over here, which is great. I'm going to click on See All. I'm going to create a table. And on the table, on the top, I'm going to click on plus. I'm going to use a table. I'm going to call this table as PTOs. The primary column name, I'm going to leave that as is, which is name. At this point, if you remember to do it, go ahead and grab this name. So I'm going to actually take a screenshot of that because we will be using that for our flow section. So if you can't remember, go ahead and grab it. I'll show you a trick also in the flow how to go and do that. So I'll click on that one. When you click on create, it'll go ahead and actually, it's saying it's provisioning a table in the background. You may continue to do it. And it just spins up all these other columns that you need. Don't worry about it. We are focused on the ones which have got the name. It says primary column name. And you can also differentiate which is the difference because it's got that CRACF over there. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put day. And for the day, I'll just say, actually it's the date. For the date, I'm going to leave it as text because I'm going to actually put that in the text format over there. I'll click on save. And then I'm going to add some days over here, so actual holidays, all right? So we can go to the edit table, and the edit table, I'm going to add some holidays. So let's say New Year is one, so New Year was a Friday, January 1st. So did that, cool. Also going to add one for Martin Luther King Jr., do that. It was on a Monday, January 18th. And then let's put Memorial Day. And the main one for my example is actually the one I'm going to put for Independence Day, because this year, 4th of July actually falls on a Sunday. And so I'm going to use that as an example, say people saying, hey, what day is Martin Luther King? What day is Independence Day? And that's why I'm going to use that as an example, okay? So let me just put this last one on the Independence Day, and then we'll switch over to the rest of the demo. Cool. Added that paste over here, and we are good. So went ahead and now saved the table as well. We've got some data, and we're all looking good on this side. Cool. So let's go back to Power Virtual Agents. Now in Power Virtual Agents, I went ahead and turned off the lessons 1, 2, 3, 4. You kind of remembered that. Now what I'm going to do is actually start adding a topic, and I'm going to call that as general information. Let's kind of start making and building the topic over there. So back into the chatbots over there, I've selected the same chatbot that I've selected over here. And now I'm going to click on that hamburger menu, click on topics, and in the topic, I'm going to go ahead and now create a new topic. If you notice, I went and kind of slide straight over there, but it's actually +1 over here. And I'm going to call that as general information. And I've got to add a whole bunch of triggers over here. Now in my video, you've heard, all my other videos, you've kind of heard me say that add as many of these triggers as you can because it really helps to make a bot a little smart. So I've already had some triggers pre-thought of, so I'm going to just do a lot of quick copying and pasting. So let me just put them in really fast. And then as you can see, I do Control-C, Control-V, and I'm pasting it by just hitting Enter over here. That way I don't take too much time. Every once in a while, you might actually see me put in some duplicates as well. And in that case, you'll actually come back and say that, hey, you've got a duplicate. And we'll see. I might actually do that again, and we'll find that out any second now. So I'm already up to 6 triggers. So I'm going to put on the 7, and I've just got a few more to go. Putting in a little bit of variety, that's the key important thing, is don't keep adding the same type again and again and just switching it up a little bit. Add more variety. Give the bot a chance to understand in a very good holistic way what it is exactly you're trying to say. Sweet. So done that, and now I'm going to go ahead and save the topic. And then once this topic is getting saved, we'll go to the authoring canvas and we'll start building our chatbot over there. Again, this chatbot's not going to be that complex, but it needs to be at least good enough to prove this point to you that I can go ahead and do all of this inside Teams. So cool. Coming over here, trigger phrases, we got 11, and now I'm going to say hi there. It already went ahead and added the message, so I'm going to leverage that. And then next, I'm going to go ahead and add a question. So I'm going to ask a question, and my question is going to be, how can I help you today? And help you today, I'm going to go ahead and now use the general information entity that we created. So I come over here, I'm going to type in general information, and general information shows up over there. Click on select options, and I use that. Now, again, this piece, I'm not going to spend too much time explaining how I did that because I have a full detailed video on how to use the entities, how to go ahead and use the synonyms for that. So again, I'll put that link in the chat, but enough for you to walk around with as well, walk along with. So I went ahead and did that, gave that variable name over here, and I'm going to now go ahead and give a condition. Now in my condition, I'm going to make this very simple. So if the question that was asked was, it had to do with paid time off, then I'll answer that question. That's why it's just going to make it a little easier. I'll kind of skip the other one. I'm just going to focus on the paid time off one. So in the paid time off, I'm just going to go ahead and ask another question, and I'm going to say, sure, any day in particular you are looking for. And then this time I'm going to let user just respond as a text, as a full text, and I'm going to make that variable as a var for PTO day. And in the PTO day, I'm going to basically run a flow. So let me go ahead and save this as well. Because in flow, I'm going to go ahead and kick off the flow from here. The flow is going to take the information that the user asked, run that across that new table that we've added over there, and then it'll go ahead and actually send the information back. So from call and action, I'm going to create a flow. The create the flow is directly going to take me there. So I want to kind of, while this is going on, check this out. See on the teams over here, it's got the option saying that, hey, you were initially working on Power Virtual Agents, which is why this is a bigger font size. But in that, while you're in Power Virtual Agents, you're using Power Automate. So it's a smaller font size right below it. I really love these little fine details that they added. These little elements really make a big impression to me because it helps users just from a view impression understanding what is going on over there. So kudos to the people who come up with these ideas. So I'm going to say Power Virtual Agents chatbot. In fact, just make it easier. Is that a one-stop shop chatbot? All right, so that way I know exactly what's going on. So in my chatbot area over here, now I'm going to go ahead and click on plus. It's going to be text. I always call this as the REC for receiving, and then I go and get the PTO name. Next, we are going to go ahead and now click on add an action. And in add an action, I'm going to use common data service. Did you notice something different over here? See that in the common data service inside the parameter or boundaries of power of the teams, did you notice something which is missing over here? You did not? Okay, let me take you back over here. See that? Common data service, you see these premium, premium, premium. While we're inside teams, inside the context of teams, you don't see that premium. This is just so that you and I understand that, hey, you're doing inside teams. This is great. I've already created an environment for you. I've given you 2 gig capacity over there, which means inside the context of teams, this is not premium. Visually, you can even understand that this is how it works over there. Love the way they've made this so easy. Thank you so much for the product team, Microsoft and the product team for doing that. But again, just to prove a point over here, okay, that again, inside the context of teams, very important that you understand. CDS or Dataverse is not free. Outside, only inside. And if you're trying to do it outside, it'll give you that premium sign over there. Very important for you to understand that. Cool. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to look for the PTOs. PTOs is the one that we created. And then I'm going to click on advanced options. And in my advanced options, I'm going to go to the filter rows. And in the filter rows, I'm going to put in this option for contains. And in the contains, I'm going to get that column name. Now, the column name, if you did not remember, this is what it was. We took a screenshot of it. It was CRACF underscore name. So that's basically what I want to say. CRACF underscore name, and then comma. I'm going to put the single quotes, add the field name, single quotes, close, and then close it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and save that as well, just to make sure I don't lose it. I'm going to go ahead and basically say that, hey, I don't want you to go and search across the entire tables over there. Just go ahead and pull the information about the one which is the name that I'm getting from the chat area over there. And the other thing I do is I just come over there and I can click on the variable so I can actually see what the variable is. I always drop a whatever I pulled, I go ahead and first drop it into a variable. That way I know for sure what it is. And I usually use this a lot for my testing purposes, but go ahead and take a look at that as well. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and initialize that. Also, let me rename that a little bit to initialize PTO info var. We're looking good. Now I come back in and I'm going to do in the add action, I'm going to do I'm going to actually set the value to the variable. I'm going to go to the variables now. And in the variable, I'm going to set the variable. I'm going to select that variable. And in here, I'm going to type in two things. I'm going to type in name. And the name value is going to come right here, the name. And the moment you do that, it automatically does it in the apply to each. So when you're walking along with me to build this, you don't see that, oh, I got an apply to each, let me go add that apply to each. Don't do that. Walk along with me. And the first step that you had to do was I just went and added the set variable, select the variable name, and started adding this over there. Don't do that, because when you set the variable, it'll automatically put it in the apply to each. So follow along the steps. Don't do by just viewing it. Follow along the steps. And then I'm going to go and add also the date. So let me go grab the date. And then this information, I'm going to return that back to the chatbot. So I'm going to click on that, and over here I usually put that as RET for return PTO info. Click on that and click on PTO. Got the variable, looking good. And I'll go ahead and click on close. And when I click on close, the Power Automate section will close, and it'll go back to the Power Virtual Agents chatbot. It takes us right back to where the area is over here. I'm loving how this is built so intuitively and so easily over here. Very nice. Thank you for the Microsoft product team for getting all of this done over here. Nice. So I've gone ahead and gotten this section done over here. Now, when I come back over here, I'm going to call an action. The action is actually going to be the Power Automate flow that we just created right there. One-stop shop for chat. Oh, I guess I put it as Bo. It should be bot. Click on the variable. The variable name that I'm going to send is the PTO day. So I'm going to call that as var PTO day. That's the one that I'm selecting. And then after that, it's going to return something, which is great. It saves it to a variable. So I'm going to put that into a message, which is right here in the message. And I'll say, here's the info. And after that, I'll just select the actual variable var. It's actually the return PTO info, which is the return PTO info. Cool. And so let me go and see, I'm going to try to finish off this flow piece over here as a very simple one. Again, it's not going to be 100% correct because remember, I'm going to skip this whole section over there. So I'm going to come back in and I'm going to save our question is, I'm going to actually ask another question. So let me go ahead and delete that. And I'm going to say ask another question. And in asking the other question, I'm going to say need more info. And in the need more info, I'm going to say, give it two options, multiple choices. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say another there. I'm going to click on no. And then this is going to be more info. Another question. When we did that, if it is yes, it'll go and jump straight back to the one on the top. It'll go and jump straight to the one on the top. If it is no, in the no, it's pretty easy. I'll go and end it over here. Now, one on the top, I've always had this struggle. Like I'm supposed to just click on this. I'm going to click on that, the actual bubble, and then go and start right up over here. Right up on the top. But I have not been successful with that. So what I'm going to do is I've always come over here to the section right below condition. I'm going to click on show message. And then after that, it's easier for me to click on this one. So now I clicked on that button over here. Then I'm going to go all the way up to as if it's going to start another question. So I'll come back and click on that. Moment I do that, this thing slides up. Perfect. Go ahead and delete that. And then I'm not yet done yet because there was this one little section which is incomplete. So this one, I'll go ahead and now complete that. So any other questions, I'll go and tie that to the complete one. So I'll just I'll make this also complete for some reason. And I'll end this survey over here, okay? So when I'm testing it, if it doesn't make sense, you know how I did that. Key thing is we went ahead and built the entire flow. We went ahead and even saved the data to CDS table. And the CDS, the flow goes ahead and checks the information from that CDS table to prove a big point that when you do it inside the context of Power Virtual Agents, inside the context of Teams, it is free. That's the key thing I'm doing over here. Nice. So went ahead and finished all of this. It's all looking good. Let's go ahead and start publishing the bot section now. So for that, I come to publish. Now in the publish, in fact, you know what, before we do the publish, let's do a quick test, because that's another point to proof, is when I come to the entities, I go back, to our topics, to the general information, go back to the authoring. Let's do a quick test. So in the test, I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to say hi. And it's no problem if it doesn't work. I just want to prove a point that it's over here. So I'm looking for, let's say need information, need info. Now it recognizes hours, great, paid time off. And I will say, let's see, I say New Year. New Year, it goes ahead and takes the test, sends it to Power Virtual Agents, and that's fine. It was not connected because there was a problem. We didn't even go ahead and publish it one time, but I just wanted to make sure that this thing is working on that side. Cool. So now let's go ahead and publish it. We go ahead and publish that. First section is come over here and publish it. So that's the easy part. After that, things are a little bit different. So I can come over here now and open the bot and test it directly inside Teams, or I go and share it. So let's do the sharing piece. So I click on share, and in share, you've got a few options. Now inside share, I can now come over here and click on edit details, and I can change the color of the bot. I can even change the icon. So let's kind of play around with it. Mine's going to be a little bit on the yellow side. I like that. I'll go ahead and change the icon. I can put any other icon that I want. So I'll just go ahead and say, let's put it back to this. Let's put it to this one. I like that. So we left that. I can go ahead and put some description, just giving you a little bit more options to go ahead and make that a little bit more personal. So that's why we went and updated the icon section and giving it some names. I could even go grab the link over there. Now let's focus a little bit on this one for a minute. This is where I can go ahead and now publish the bot to make it available to everybody in your teams. And in order for that to be approved in your teams, it has to go through your team's admin center. And so that's another step over there. You click on that, it'll get submitted, it'll go into your team's admin center. In fact, in your team's admin center, when they go in over there, they'll be able to see, oh, here's one that is pending approval, and they'll approve that. For your team itself, the one that you created, you go and click on add to teams. When you go and do an add to teams, it gives you this very important thing that added to teams. So that's basically how you've gone ahead and now created that and added to teams over there. So I'm going to stop as far as the closing piece over here, get done, and now pretend that I'm going now into my team, which is the one-stop shop for FAQ. And here now, I don't automatically see it. What I have to do now as an everyday user is also go ahead and grab the bot. So let me show you how that works out as an everyday user. First, let me just test it as a maker. So when I come in, I go to the apps, and in my apps, I go to build for Christian family, click on build for Christian family, and here is the one-stop shop, the one that we created. This wasn't there before. This only happened after we went ahead and saved it, and then we went ahead and actually added it to Teams. So now that I do it, the first time it is going to ask me, do you want to add it? I'm going to click on yes. I went ahead and added. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pin that into my Teams as well. So I went ahead and pinned it. And then the bot automatically triggered off. Pretty sweet. I like how it is going. So I'm going to now do a test. Hi there. And again, for whatever reason, the bot doesn't work. That's not the whole idea of this one. This is to make sure that it's inside the Teams and it works. And I'm going to say, need some information. This is great. So far, so good. I can help you. Paid time off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for Independence Day. The reason I'm searching for Independence Day is because this year the Independence Day actually falls, 4th of July falls on a Sunday. So I'm not really sure if the Independence Day off is on a Friday or a Monday. That's why I'm doing that. Okay, it is giving me some error, but whatever reason. It's basically, it's not able to run the flow. I can go and troubleshoot that. That's not the problem. The key thing I want to talk about over here is that say you did all this search, you went ahead to somewhere else or some other team, did something, you come back over here, it will remember the last things that you've used. It doesn't forget that, which is very important for you because you had a full conversation with the bot system and the conversation needs to be built over there. Second important thing I want to show you is this little toggle switch available. It says pop up, pop out. So I click on that and now it takes it out into a completely separate pop-up window here, which is fantastic because what I do is now I can continue doing everything else. I might have a meeting, I might have another discussion going on, but at the same time I have another window area over here where I can continue with that chatbot conversation. So very important thing for you to do that. Cool, so I've gone ahead and shown you some really neat things. Now I need to go the last bit of this blog, which is to go ahead and now delete it. So there's a whole bunch of steps involved for that as well. And there's different types of deleting. Sometimes it may look like the bot's not available, but you haven't actually deleted it. So let me kind of show you all of those. Also, before I go into deleting though, I want to show you, when I go in as a user now, this is me as a user. I'm in the same bot area. I need to go ahead and find that bot as well, and I need to go ahead and pin that down. So I go to the app area, same process, go to the build for Christian family, and then in the Christian family, you will again see that bot which I've created. And then as an everyday user also, you have to go ahead and add it, and then you can pin it over there. So the same process for both the everyday users. The bot goes ahead, kicks in, and it works, and it's just there. So I kind of wanted to show you that both from a user perspective, the maker perspective, and the user perspective over here. And I went ahead and pinned that down. Let's continue with now the process of going ahead and deleting it. So I'm come back over here to me as the maker, and I'm going into Power Virtual Agents. And what I'm going to do is I don't want to completely actually delete the bot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to first now remove the bot area. So I'm going to go to the chatbot section over here. I'm going to go and look at our chatbot. This is the one over here. And I'm going to go to Publish. And in the Publish section, I'm going to now click on this Publish. And in the Publish, it gives you a few options. And then after that, this is where I can go ahead and remove it. So this is the first option to not just delete it, but to go ahead and remove it. So I'm going to click on Remove. And when I click on Remove, it's going to give a sign. It said, your bot was removed from the Built by your colleague section of the team apps. What that means is that if I go in again as the colleague section, which is I go back as Finn over here. If I go now and I go and search for the apps, build for the Christian family, any section, once it goes and refreshes, you won't be able to see this over here. And in fact, if I go and refresh it, that's probably what's happening. It's not able to see that over here. The response is much faster when you do it on your Teams itself. But that's basically what it is saying, is that when you go to the build for the Christian family, you won't be able to see it. And see, I refreshed it, and it's not showing up over there. So that's all I've done. That first delete that I did is it basically just removed it from the built-in section. It hasn't actually deleted it. What that means is that if somebody has already gone ahead and had that saved over there, they've gone ahead and pinned it, then they will still be able to go ahead and use it. So I come over here and I say hi there, it's there, hi there, and it goes in response, perfect, need some information. That need some information was actually the topic that we created. So it's kind of showing that, hey, I went ahead and just removed it from the build section. The bot is still there, and if somebody went ahead and pinned it, they can still use that. So that's one thing over there. What I want to do is completely remove it, and for that, I go back into my bot area. I go back again into the Power Virtual Agents. I go into the Share the Bot area, click on that, and I'm going to go ahead and now disconnect the bot. That's the option right here, disconnect from a bot from Teams. So when I go and do that, now it says when you disconnect your bot, it will not respond to anyone who has installed it. It will no longer be listed in the built-in bot section. So you could have completely skipped the previous one, which is to go ahead and remove it, which is right here, and just clicked on disconnect, and it'll take off both from the built by your colleague section, and it'll go ahead and disconnect it. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect it now, and it's going and saying deleting the channel, which is basically disconnecting it. Channel was deleted, and after that though, the bot still hasn't been deleted. It's just been the bot is disconnected from Teams. What that means though is that, again, if I have gone ahead and had a bot, if I've gone ahead and pinned it, I can still have the option to go ahead and use it. So I'll say that, start again. Start again is another good tip to go ahead and start the chatbot again. Normally that would work, but now I've disconnected the bot from Teams, from the Power Virtual Agents, which is why this is completely not working. No errors come, nothing comes. It's just not working. So this is a little tidbit that I want to leave behind, is that if you've disconnected the chatbot, you will have to tell your users in your Teams, in whatever channel, tell them that, make a big announcement, hey, the bot has been disconnected or it is discontinued. Go ahead and unpin wherever your bot has been there. So I'll go ahead and unpin it. I can even go ahead and uninstall it. So, give your end users that heads up that is going on over there. Finally, you can also come in over here to that. You can turn it on again. The bot hasn't gone anywhere. You've just disconnected it. I can go ahead and click on Turn on Teams, and it'll connect the bot all the way back again. So nothing to worry about. If you really want to delete it, the best way to do it is then you come back to your chat bots. You got to go to the setting, which is right at the bottom. Click on the setting, click on delete, and then you got to actually type that whole name in. I don't usually type it. I just highlight that, Control C, Control V, and do a delete the bot. And then it's saying processing a request, going ahead and deleting it, and it will go ahead and delete that over there. Deleting this bot will not delete your entity though. It won't delete your environment either, because that was, once it's been created, it is tied to that team. It won't delete it. but it's just gone ahead and deleted that bot over there. Wow, we covered a lot, so thank you for sticking around for the whole video. And as a quick review, we went right from the beginning, from actually making sure that the license was correct, showed you those 2 users who had the correct license over there, walked you through the making sure that the app itself, which is a Power Virtual Agents, and then sharing the app is accepted in the Teams Admin Center. And then we went through a whole process from creating the tables in the Dataverse over there, creating a flow, telling you that, hey, this is still part of the license over there, walked you through to creating the chatbot using a nice topic over there. We went ahead and created the entities, built it, tested it, and then afterwards I even went ahead and showed it to you that, hey, you have the option to pin it, but then if you go ahead and try to delete it, there's different ways to delete it. You can just remove the bot over there so that other people can't go ahead and add the new bot, or you can disconnect it from Teams, that way you can go ahead and add that back again, or you can actually do the full delete. So hopefully this was helpful to you, and as always, keep using Power Virtual Agents.